I'm better at life than you.
Okay. The incident with Richard occurred after his second year in the NFL. Could be the end of Richard's playing career, though the story did point out he is staying in shape.
Well, let's not get personal here.
I actually have some optimism for Skip Bayless now. I mean, at first I was a little nervous, but based upon who he's trying to select in order to bring back Undisputed, I think his candidates are getting significantly better. And this latest one, if he could pull this off, is a beautiful fit, but the problem is, I'm not necessarily sure if he can. Before we get to the content, we're back giving away $1,000 split between 5 subscribers that turn on our notifications on this channel. And now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? At this point, you're very familiar with what is going on with Skip Bayless and Undisputed. The writing was kind of on the wall between Skip and Shannon throughout this past year, as they went from playful banter but slightly throwing digs at each other, like they did here.
Mayfield is dead last in 2022 in QBR.
Blah, blah,
He's
blah.
dead last. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. You gonna let me talk? Because that's what you do.
If you'll stay on point on questions.
You never stay on point.
Okay, I'm about to stay on point. Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn.
Okay.
To it getting to a point where you could see that Shannon Sharpe was getting fed up with Skip Bayless.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he's still playing at a high level at 45. That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous. I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame. Super Bowl.
So what?
So what?
And things really hit a boiling point once the Damar Hamlin situation began and Skip Bayless put out a tweet that a lot of people deemed insensitive, including his partner Shannon Sharpe, which resulted in Shannon Sharpe no-showing Undisputed.
If you'd like to tweet us your emotions of the night about what happened, please do so. You can tweet us at @Undisputed. The last thing we want to do is offend anyone by trying to do what we always do, which is talk about sports. Obviously, my partner Shannon Sharpe is not here today. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
And then when he did come back to explain himself, things got a little awkward between the two.
Anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me. You could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up this.
No, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue, not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
As a result of these incidents, the moment that Shannon Sharpe agreed to a buyout with Fox Sports, people speculated that it was Skip Bayless's fault. It was the fact that they couldn't get on the same page. Skip Bayless was way too controlling. Not to sound like a broken record here, I've disputed the fact. My personal theory has been that since Pat McAfee decided to part ways with FanDuel TV and sign on with ESPN, Pat McAfee originally had a 4-year, $120 million contract with FanDuel TV. Shannon Sharpe saw that money, and his brand is big enough to get a contract that is similar to that. Now, bear in mind, the Pat McAfee show got that amount of money. So if Shannon Sharpe wanted to take Club Shay Shay to that level, then he could potentially secure a bag similar to those numbers. When you compare that to what people typically get paid from networks like ESPN or Fox Sports, Skip Bayless is Fox Sports' main guy, and he currently is signed to a 4-year, $32 million contract, which is great money. It's just not a 4-year, $120 million contract. Hell, yet Charles Barkley even shading ESPN for the recent firing, saying that he would never work for ESPN because they would work him like a dog and pay him barely anything.
Oh wait, why wouldn't you go to ESPN?
They're not gonna work me like a dog and
So this left Skip Bayless in a very very uncomfortable position, because even though Shannon Sharpe agreed to a buyout with Fox Sports, essentially Skip Bayless was stuck there in probably one of the most pivotal points in the sports media cycle without a partner. Shannon Sharpe was set to exit the show the moment the NBA Finals concluded. So we quite literally found out that Shannon Sharpe was leaving a little bit over 2 weeks before he actually left. So how unprepared was Skip Bayless for this? Well, so unprepared that the moment the NBA Finals ended, there was no more Undisputed. There was speculation about who they were going to bring on next. At first we thought it was LaShawn McCoy, and thank goodness it sounds like it's not going to be LaShawn McCoy, because personally I don't like LaShawn McCoy's takes, and it's not out of bias, it's just the way he presents information is just, I mean, look for yourself.
You keep talking about these numbers.
Yeah.
When you watch
They matter.
They matter. When you watch the game with your eyes, I watched the same game. He looked trash.
And then things got a little bit crazy because Skip Bayless kind of revealed how desperate he truly was. Since my living is based off of sports media, I will admit one of the most exciting times for sports media is when the season ends and it goes into the off season. Speculation, the rumors, the roster transactions gives us a lot to talk about. So the fact that Skip Bayless didn't have a show during a time where the NBA was heading into the off season just shows you how unprepared Undisputed was for Shannon Sharpe's exit. Now, I'll give Skip Bayless some credit because at this point, this is a make or break moment of his career. He left First Take with Stephen A. Smith, which was a good thing, clearly, because he completely revolutionized the concept of a modern day sports debate show. He went to Undisputed and teamed up with Shannon Sharpe, which was considered to be a risk, and they caught lightning in a bottle. Skip Bayless understands that his next partner will make or break him. It is the difference between being relevant for the next 10 to 20 years or for him fading off into obscurity. And even if he does, in my opinion, he's a legend. Yeah, he doesn't give the greatest takes on earth. He's not some brilliant analyst, but you have to admit, he's created very entertaining sports shows. And for that, he has my respect. In regards to Shannon Sharpe, I've said before, I think he's strictly leaving because he could make significantly more money and have full creative control of his own show. Very similar to why Dan Patrick left ESPN. So with that being said, what's Skip Bayless's plan? Well, in our last video, he quite literally begged Charles Barkley to be his co-host. Watch.
Charles Barkley would be my dream debate partner. I'm be this damn idiot's debate partner. Please let me annihilate you on a daily basis.
Which was kind of sad considering how Charles Barkley really doesn't like Skip Bayless.
You read something.
I did.
Okay.
If you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out.
And like these two have had a history going back and forth with each other, with Skip Bayless, I guess, kind of gaslighting Charles Barkley.
My theory is that deep down, Charles resents me because I all too often see and say things that he wishes he had seen and said. So I assume Charles will keep taking his shots because now I will no longer turn the other cheek as I did for 20 years. I no longer will let him get away with slinging mud, whatever mud that he wants to sling.
Then Charles Barkley clapping back at Skip Bayless, saying he doesn't like him.
If I could get Skip Bayless in a room,
And there we
they
go.
need DNA to find who it was. Like,
At first I thought this was sad, but now I'm starting to see a trend here. I don't necessarily know what Charles Barkley's response was because his main platform, which is Inside the NBA, isn't currently live. The NBA season's over. But I did notice that Skip Bayless has another dream scenario, and this dream scenario is beginning to follow a trend, and I think it's significantly more likely and more attractive, no, not physically attractive, you freaks, but in terms of a successful show, way more attractive than Charles Barkley. A brand new face in sports media is none other than Richard Sherman, who I think is destined for greatness, by the way. I mean, we've known him from his Legion of Boom days, where he's created a reputation for being controversial and giving us interview moments like this.
Hey, when you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
And on top of that, Richard Sherman is very well spoken, I have to admit. That man puts his Stanford degree to work. He's very blunt, he's very honest, he's transparent about what's going on behind the scenes and how he feels about people. And we really saw that once he transitioned into a role with Amazon for Thursday Night Football and his analysis on Russell Wilson.
Run the ball. CT.
he's triggered.
All he has to do is run the football. This isn't for him, but God dang it, run the dang ball.
But not only that, Richard Sherman has demonstrated throughout this whole Russell Wilson situation over the past year that he is masterful at navigating controversy, but not overdoing the controversy. He didn't really milk the Russell Wilson angle. He just kind of threw a little shade at him here and there, as you could evidence from this podcast with Marshawn Lynch.
Man, I want to reach out to dog, bro, because
reach out to it.
You know, it
His
ain't
manager.
that. I can't call you direct, then I ain't calling you.
He did take some digs at Russell Wilson on Twitter as well, but at the end of the day, it seemed like respectful little jabs at Russell Wilson. Although he did say that he kind of resented Russ for the fact that Pete Carroll kind of chose Russell Wilson over the defense.
He was not held to the same accountability as the rest of them.
I had to get to the point where he chose Russ or the defense. And after the Super Bowl loss, he kind of made it pretty clear who he was choosing.
But the reason I'm bringing up Richard Sherman is because this seems like it's Skip Bayless's brand new dream partner. And no, I'm not just making this up. Richard Sherman is a candidate to replace Shannon Sharpe on FS1's Undisputed alongside Skip Bayless, according to Andrew Marchand. Immediately, you should think of one moment, and one moment only, and that's when Richard Sherman went on First Take and said this to Skip Bayless.
That's what I leave it up to. I mean, you can say whatever you want. Skip can say whatever he wants, but Skip, whenever you refer to me, whenever you speak to me, whenever you address me as All-Pro Stanford graduate, because those are some accomplishments you can aspire to, you will never accomplish. You have never accomplished anything. So, but those things are on my resume. Those are what I've done. It's my second year in the NFL, going on my third. I mean, you tell me who's wrong.
Okay, I'll accept that. I think I've accomplished more in my field than you have in yours, though you're just getting started.
So I'm the top of my field. So I'm all pro. I'm the best, one of the best 22 players in the NFL. You're going to brush it off, but I don't think you're the best 22 anything in sports and in media and anything. I think you think more of yourself than you actually can, prove. But
okay. Do you think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
In my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Okay.
So
all right, that's fair.
Let's get down to that.
Let's not get personal here.
So first things first, you're starting to get an idea of the type of partner Skip Bayless wants. He doesn't want someone that's a yes man. He wants someone that'll wrestle with him, that would potentially want to tear his head off. He wants a person that might not even like him currently and might never like him. And for that reason, I have to admit, I have a lot of respect for Skip Bayless because he understands that this would make for a great show. I mean, Richard Sherman is extremely well-spoken. He's very intelligent, and he clearly doesn't like Skip Bayless. And he's kind of in a similar position as Shannon Sharpe was when Shannon Sharpe first did Undisputed with Skip Bayless. Although I would say Richard Sherman kind of got a better start to his analyst career, but Richard Sherman clearly wants to make a career out of doing this on a regular basis. He's clearly looking at what Skip Bayless did for Shannon Sharpe. He understands that he could very well do the same thing for Richard Sherman. I think this would be a home run. I mean, this, as a fan of sports and sports content, for me, would be a dream scenario. This is even better because Richard Sherman is significantly younger than Charles Barkley, which was Skip's candidate in the previous video that we made on this. But even if it's not Richard Sherman, you could understand what Skip Bayless is going for at this point. You want someone that doesn't like him, that could wrestle with him in basketball and football topics. And if there's a person that could destroy Skip Bayless in these debates that hasn't liked Skip Bayless for, the past decade at minimum, it's Richard Sherman. You might be thinking, but Richard Sherman doesn't like Skip Bayless. Well, think of what Skip Bayless could do for Richard Sherman's career. I think this is a home run, and I think there's a chance that Richard Sherman might go for this. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man, because I would love to see this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.